my name is Milla Magee and I'm the reigning Miss England. I embarked on this journey a year ago. Actually, I was crowned Miss England a year ago. I embarked on this journey in January last year, being a complete novice and not knowing at all what these systems represented, and my eyes were opened into this beautiful world of empowerment and standing for a purpose and taking your passions and making it into your purpose. And that's really what enlightened my journey. I grew up being a young girl as a surfer, barefoot on a beach in a wetsuit, never wore makeup, never wore dresses, admired these systems from afar, but from what society had, I'd grown up with the media saying, these systems aren't your style. So I embarked on this journey, and what really steered me to be a part of Miss England was to show young girls and boys that you can make something your own. If you step out of your comfort zone, you can change that narrative and you can turn your passions and make it your purpose. And that's what really inspired me. I have a campaign called Go Far with CPR, which is aimed at changing the law in England to make CPR mandatory in schools. And as Miss England, I've spent this past year working with my local Member of Parliament, to His Royal Highness Prince William, and we are aiming to campaign to change the law throughout England, and I hope throughout the world, because the skills to save a life is universal. The journey when you win Miss England is to go to Miss World, and so that's what I've been journeying towards throughout this year, because that is the goal. I didn't even know when I embarked on Miss England that you went to Miss World. I was just so happy and blessed to have the honour of representing my country. But I expected, as what Miss World should represent, is about beauty with a purpose, because that is what we are told throughout this whole year, and as it should. It's about your purpose, it's about what you stand for as a person, and it's about what you can do to make a difference, to create a future for the younger generations, because they are the future. And being at Miss World, it was a very enlightening experience on everything that was the complete opposite of what I thought. So coming from a system like Miss England that was so empowering, I had no idea what to expect at Miss World other than from what I've experienced, which was all about purpose, all about your campaign, and not about your looks. I know that it's all about beauty with a purpose, but I've spent this past year advocating for beauty that is beyond the physical, it's beyond the looks. Beauty comes from within, where I'd much rather have a conversation with someone that I personally get on with on a personal level, rather than someone who's aesthetically pleasing. And so that's what I really wanted to bring onto this Miss England journey, and what I was expecting at Miss World. It's not about looks, it's not about what you look like, it's about what you're campaigning for. All these fantastic women that are campaigning for such important topics back home in their communities, and raising awareness for topics that are really serious. And at Miss World, I'd expected to have an opportunity on a global level to learn about the other girls around the world, to campaign about myself back in England that I've been campaigning for with my community. And, I didn't have the opportunity to say about it once. And, being out there, it was very important for me to stay true to myself. It was important for me to stay true to myself in what I've been advocating for. I'm a Miss England that is makeup free all the time, because I don't wear makeup myself naturally anyway. And it was about not conforming. But when you're out there, whether it's Miss World or anywhere, any career, you feel like you've got to conform to be accepted. And that's not what the image that I want to create for our future generations. You stay true to yourself, you stay kind, and you stay passionate about your purpose, and that's what drives you forward. But at Miss World, I had expected that we'd have an opportunity every day to talk about our purpose, to talk about what we're campaigning and championing for. But it felt like we are living in the 21st century, but stepping back into a 20th century system. Miss World, to me, again, she's a pillar of the community, and she is a voice for the voiceless. And I always say that there is immunity in community. When you come together as a community, the difference is abundant. And being able to stand amongst 110 other women was so empowering for me, to be able to be in that position. And I was so excited to learn about what everyone was campaigning for around the world. I didn't get a chance or an opportunity to learn from the other girls, and I know that the argument might be is because I didn't stay long enough to meet the Beauty with a Purpose gala, which gives the girls the opportunity. But you only get the chance to talk about your beauty with a purpose if you make it as a finalist. We have this opportunity to stand on a global stage, but being out in India, I'd never experienced going to somewhere like that before. Obviously, there's a very dramatic class system out there, and I hadn't witnessed, firsthand that sort of poverty before. And, getting into coaches most evenings and being driven through the streets of India, it didn't sit well with me. Seeing these people lying on the streets, seeing these people that are living in slums. This is real life. This isn't a movie. But beyond those walls, when someone's literally begging out for help, I just at one point wanted to take my plate and give them my food, give out a reaching hand on what I can do to help. It's not right that we're all having a dinner with dignitaries one evening, and there's clearly favouritism amongst some girls because I didn't get the opportunity to speak about my beauty with a purpose once, or what I'm campaigning for. I wasn't there to entertain conversations with dignitaries that have helped the system. I'm there to talk about what I'm championing for and what I believe in and what I believe is right. And I wanted to help, so I gave out my hand, and then I got told that I could not communicate with this person because they are classed as lower and I have to get back onto the coach. That is not what Miss World stands for me. So there's girls in this system that obviously do embrace it all, which is fantastic. They want the sparkly dresses, they want the sparkly crowns, but I learnt very quickly, this isn't why I embarked on Miss England, and this is not why I'm out here. I'm not staying true to myself, and I'm going against everything that I advocate for. If I'd stayed out there any longer, I was conforming. And there's a lot of girls out there that do feel the same as myself. And there's girls, like I said, that are out there that want to embrace that, and that's fine. But if I can share my story, and if I can share this now, and hopefully encourage and give a voice to the voices that feel voiceless. But I'm not saying that Miss World isn't a system that can't fit into this world. Excuse the pun again. But it needs to evolve and it needs to change for it to fit in today's society. And I see.